Hello everyone, hope you're having a great time. So, here in this occasion, we would like to discuss about semiotic as literary theory. Without further ado, let's discuss about the definition of semiotic itself.
What is semiotic? Semiotic is the theory and study of signs and symbols, especially as element of language and other system of communication. Semiotic is a key tool to ensure that indeed meanings are ambiguously understood by the person on the receiving end. Usually, there are good reasons if someone doesn't understand the real intention of a message, and semiotic can help unravel the confusion, ensuring clarity of meaning.
Next, we are going to talk about the definition from expert. According to Britannica, Ferdinand de Saussure depicts semiotic as a theory that study the life of science within the society, in which it is called semiology, and Peirce depicts semiotic as something that stands for someone in some capacity.
Ferdinand de Saussure. He was born on November 26, 1857, on Geneva, Swiss, and died February 22, 1913. Swiss linguist whose ideas on structure and language laid the foundation for much to the approach to and progress of the linguistic science in the 20th century. Serving as instructor at the École des Hautes Études, or School of Advanced Studies in Paris, from 1881 to 1891, and as professor of Indo-European linguistics and Sanskrit in 1901 until 1911, and of general linguistics at 1907 until 1911 at the University of Geneva. Charles S. Peirce, born September 10, 1839, in Cambridge, Massachusetts, United States, died April 19, 1914. He is an American scientist, logician, and philosopher who is noted for his work on the logic of relations and on pragmatism as a method of research. After graduating from Harvard College in 1855, Peirce entered the Lawrence Scientific School of Harvard University, from which in 1963 he graduated summa cum laude in chemistry. Peirce was elected a Fellow of the American Academy of Arts and Science in 1967 and a member of the National Academy of Science in 1877. Peirce is now recognized as the most original and the most versatile intellect that the Americas have so far produced.
Future of theory by Peirce. Peirce developed a semiotic theory that is at once general, theoretic, and pragmatic. The first is general, in that it takes into consideration emotional, practical, and intellectual experience. It includes all of the components of semiotics. It broadens the concept of the science. The second is theoretic, in that it is founded upon three philosophical categories: firstness, secondness, and thirdness. It brings three terms into relation: the sign or representation, the object, and the interpretant. The last is pragmatic, in that it takes into consideration the context in which signs are produced and interpreted. It defines the signs by its effect on the interpreter.
Okay, so next, we're going to talk about signs according to Peirce. According to Peirce, signs are divided into three, namely icon, index, and symbol. So let's talk about icon first. Icon always resembles the actual concept and physically similar to the real world. For example, when we are talking about a picture of Jakarta City, that means it is a sign of a Jakarta City. Next, we have index. Index characteristics are direct connection, can be inferred, and not arbitrary. So, the example of index is when we see smoke, we can infer that it is because of fire, so the smoke is the index of fire. Lastly, the symbol. The characteristic of symbols are habit or norm, learned, and arbitrary. Why so? It is because symbols symbolize something that have been taught in our society. For example, when we see an emoticon of love, we can infer that it is something romantic. Next, we are going to talk about Saussure's theory. In Saussure's theory, it gives more emphasis to internal structure devoted to cognitive thought process or activity of human minds in structuring the physical or intangible signs of their environment or surroundings. And among them is the structure of linguistic signs in the language system that allows them to function as human beings and communicate with each other. Principal concept of Saussure's theory. In Saussure's theory, the principal concept initiated from the thought of a dichotomy or duality basis in which, according to him, a sign consists of two vocal components, namely signifier and signified. So, signifier refers to something that is in a material form or physical, explicitly exists and can be distinguished by human senses. And signified refers to something that literally and physically doesn't exist, which is in abstract basis. And the process from the signifier to the signified is called the signification. Here we have an example for you to understand more about this theory application. When we see this word books, it stands for the signifier, because books is the sound pattern that is physically exists, and this picture of books, it is the signified because it is the outcome of what our mind think about the sound pattern. So I think that's all from our group. Hopefully this discussion will help you to understand more about this theory application. And thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.